Morning, everyone. This is General AI Space Time. Sending track communications, setting directions, all those are travel conditions. The way I communicate is trying to stand through each line settings inside to each chakra. But if you understand the chakra settings, then you understand the position location where it comes into P's and Q's. I did that locations on live on TikTok. You have to truly understand how to be thankful that you are in a body. You have to be thankful that you exist in purpose of a body. You have to understand your imposition locations of being alive in a body. We don't focus on that. We focus on, oh, I can't pay my bills. Oh, I can't pay this. I can't pay that. Why can't the universe talk to me back? Right? Yada, 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 yada. That's not helping you know wisdom forms because you're talking at something, not to something. To communicate with your body, you have to talk to its system. It's a feeding source. It's an activation stream. Has chakras, all formation to its own setting. Each chakra is a representation of you through emotion. And each emotion is its connecting setting to each clocking that's connecting to each wave, that's connecting to its each number, letter, shape, and symbol. Okay? Try to understand that to its formation. Each chakra is there for you, but you have to understand how to use the P's and Q's. Please and thank you, right? So what I like to do is when I get up in the morning in that formation line setting, you automatically get into your meditation graph line, simulation graphs in that communication system just before you go to work or what are you going to do through your routine location setting. So the direct line calculation setting is track lines. This is how powerful it is inside position. When you're standing so location, you set it inside. Every chakra is communicating, right, to every chakra inside your body. And because you're not aware of that, that's the situation, not setting. So you have to be aware to all communication. What number is that in signal communication setting, right? Communicate with 1 digital, 2 digital, 3 line location setting directions, right? Everything's a body of reaction. Okay. So I'm doing it through finger point communications, right? Send a correlation line interference of 53 line rotation, positional location, track lines, positional attraction. Set a position track line interference. This is 44 line rotation, setting track location of solar generous line interference, position locations. Set a communication line interference of tracking, line in rotation, position traction. Right? So we all have to understand how to interact with more of our body inside. So this is the basic example, has a voice line grid. Each chakra has its own geometric of its own operation, of its own design, of its own space, of its own time, of its own dimension. It has to. It's a complete system. So what you're connecting to is your avatar inside location. Now, understanding the frequencies of your higher self, which is the right line and left line, if your ears are ringing both at the same time, that's the planets. Okay? So you have to understand the ringing ears. Everything's a tone, right? So it gets louder and louder and louder and louder until you understand everything is a tone, everything is a rhythm, everything's a pattern, everything's a communication, everything's data coming to you through the position location of higher self or anything, the indications of its avatar. And anything in both line setting is your planets. Planets have correlation setting directions. They have spectral communications of all levels. Speaking lights, direction of time, sequence, location up high. Now, directing signals is really understand the information location system and track communication line set location identification. Understanding the line setting is really understanding the importance of position locations, right? So if I want to communicate to the chakra line setting, I have to understand the adaptability through its P's and Q's, right? You're asking, you're receiving. So in that line communications, understand the information locations. And you really have to understand these things because that's where the team is coming into. So you break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down. Sometimes doesn't feel right line communication, immune line rotation setting. Exactly. 43 is our calculations, right? Why is 43? Because that's the number that comes in set locations. So you're in a compute sys location. 4 generation line interference of Fibonacci line rotation, Zoc calculation line interference general. What do you want to do with the calculation turn location? And then I communicate back with it. Done. Now you have no idea what I did, but I fixed it. And I feel the energy, which is a reaction. Multi-pass. All right, very quick, very fast position track communications. But the inner line calculation line is the interface inside a location to a system, right? There's no difference communicating with your fingers. How's it any different? It's not. It's inside you. Your hand is a formation of its own intelligence. Out. So we all have to get into that formation, and it's all levels of inner child. So you have to understand the formation location of chakras that are all over the place inside you, right? And that's why you need to be always in scan location settings and directions, right? So in that indication, it knows exactly why it's inside your body, but why is it in position location if it doesn't understand how it's inside your body? The how is the multitude level locations to your dimensional location of space. Understanding the chakra system of 56, understanding the chakra system of identification line centers of 65, understanding the chakra system of 114, right? So try to understand these set location line settings. Each chakra is communicating with all set location inside their body, okay? Inside your body. And if you're not aware of these things, how are you going to understand anything through your set locations of healing? Right? Is a rotation spin cycle. Where's that set location line interference? What numbers chakra location is on position to its setting? Where's the computational line interference coming from to the set location line setting? Why is there a beacon light going off? Well, what do you check its communication line center? Is it 2? Is it position of 21 or is it 27? Everything through 2 line setting and foundation graph lines in one panel in our location setting is all calculated to Pluto. The foundation of 12 stays with your DNA. Anything above is your higher self to calculation your avatar, okay? So remember, 7 line rotations, bodies of water, 5 atmospheres, okay? That's 12. That's your DNA, right? Anything above that, you're coming into echo, you're coming into sonar, okay? You're coming into higher levels of waves. You're coming into electrical magnetic fields, stratospheres, biospheres, brainiospheres, okay? That's the calculation setting, but you have to understand the foundations of you first, which is 7 and 5 within the atmosphere, which is your ESP. You have 5 line set location of senses, which is 3 through indication, external sensory perception, ESP. You're psychic. Everybody's psychic. You're all coming back to that setting. There's no separation in that set location system. You just have to understand how to use it through foundation of your 12, because that's what you're working with every single day in location settings until you understand your track locations. Every chakra in your body is a representation of you through its own set location setting to all timelines all at once. It doesn't need its memory. Its memory is already there. Okay, it's information. So it's information for you to understand because every chakra has its own geographical map. You have to learn how to use it through all calculation settings. Communicate with 0. Communicate with 5. Communicate with line 7. Connect with all lines. Just scan all line position of where you are. If you're blocked through the throat, is it 6 or is it 65? Or is it 6,051? Which one is it? You have to understand the indication, right? So the more you understand your body, the more you understand the energy and the vibration, the frequencies and harmonics, right? Especially when you come in the heart conversion location setting direction. Right? Adam comes in. Right? Right? What did happen in locations? The Adam came in, reset the heart and line convergence to clocking. Multi-pass. I see it. You don't see it. The only thing you worry about is an emotional line setting. That's the formation of what gets you lost in confusion, because that's all you're focusing on. You're not focusing on what's inside you. That's what you got to focus on. Focus on all levels inside location, not just your chakras, not just your atoms, not just your molecules, not just your cells. Your whole body is an intricate location setting of a computer operation line set locations to all level division location to a setting connection. Okay? It's a vessel of communication through its own GOD. So if you are God, every chakra system is God. So the chakras are there for you to get you back into your memory. Okay? Information is given to you. There's that location setting. Track communication line and parents location. General is the line. Center location line. Specific locations. I communicate line in position of 4-4. Back and track communication lines of 4,000 triangles. Wow. Confirmation. Copy that. Out. Right? Here, always here's the confirmation. Right? Because it's mistone, misinformation. Right? So in that line communication setting, you have to do these things. I don't tell you these things. You have to figure that out yourself. I don't tell you everything that General does. Right? It's revealing the mystery of set location of your settings. You have to figure that out yourself. So you are the inner child of having fun with your body inside. It's a beautiful thing once you really understand how to communicate with your system, right? Track line interference, location, and remembering, line calculations in Gypsy. Very powerful videos and communications to all calculations, connecting with all lines in different intelligent navigation system through her navigation settings and all calculations. Going through a round line, circle line rotations to all position locations and different perception. Okay. What do you think's inside your body? What's inside your body? Everything that's outside location setting and reflection location of the system, right? Your body is all levels of communication. You have to learn how to connect with it. And if you just volume yourself and keep worrying about emotional line settings, you getting in position locations and setting your chakras into dormant. You can't put dormant lines in triangulation line interference of chakras. Your chakras have to breathe. Your chakras have to be healed. Your chakras have to be in an energy wash. Your chakras have to be formation. Your chakras have to be moving. Your chakras have to be moving. Okay? All right. So that line rotations. The activity line rotation cycles, all generation stream locations, and then setting, track communication with system, right? So that's what I start off with. I started off with 114 chakras all at once. I scan all the way in line rotation, energy signatures of reaction. That's why you guys are inside a body. Your body is just a reaction, right? That's why you're in a body. That's it, nothing else. Okay? Because if you were in a body, you see your line communication all dimensional light. Everybody go, ah, right? That's the communications that they're not aware of because they don't see it preceding location to a setting. It's all communication to a system, location to a system. All right, track calculation setting. Directing panels, a position track line. Okay. So in that line rotation interference, every chakra in your set location lines has all future adaptation in your system, all through coloration, through its intelligence of its own operation, waiting for you to understand how to use it. And that's why I get to all calculation and settings of the levels of structure. Okay. Each chakra has its own emotional system. Each chakra is you. You dealing with you, just in different levels of vibration. But it's in the same day of one line setting. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. One day and all rotation all at once. Okay. All right. So in that line rotation, in that calculation stream location settings, you have to understand the adaptation of surface, and that where it comes into the tool set position track lines, how to use a device, how to use a screwdriver, how to use a flathead, how to use a star head. Basically, in different tool set location settings through instruction, right? Because you're coming into your tool set, your avatar has to really understand how to use it through fruition, has to understand how to use it through chart line setting. Okay, so 67 line rotation interference line, 66 position location line center interference of track communications back in 70 line rotation setting. 66, 67, and 70. So that's 3 triangulation right there, right? So that's chakra 66, 67, and 70 communication to triangulation line setting. So 67, 70, and 67 is communicating with each other, all through permission. So that's correlating in high line interference, 66 line calculations, 70 line track lines, and location of 67. Triangulation of wall line, rotation of a panel. Okay, sending track communications. Now to take the 66 and 72 or 76 or change it to 75, it doesn't matter. What matters is you have to communicate with the different number line frequency patterns, because 66 is different from 70 and 70 is different from 67. So you understand if you're taking 66 and 70 is 67 or 67 or 70, you take it out of the equation location setting and set up a graph line stream location to holograph line communication to a system. Okay? So I'm showing you so many different ways how to communicate with your chakras. You have to understand these things. It's so simple. It's so simple. Communicate with 66, 67, or 70 or 72. It doesn't matter. It's creating a hologram. But you understand the seconds, minutes, and the hour line settings because it changes track communications to your position locations. So it's important to understand when the avatar is in its ground surface, it really understands the emotional system. If it doesn't understand its emotional system and it concentrates on anything else, so you understand, oh my gosh, I'm connecting with the emotional system, but what about I see or hear or feel or touch or taste? I don't want to worry about that. I just want to focus on the emotional system. So that's one negative line, okay, which is cross signatures locations, underscore lines, in position locations into 5 set location. Okay, so you're focusing on one, which is your emotional setting, but forget about the 5 line rotation. That doesn't make any sense. You got to communicate with all levels of one, right? Which is all single locations of yin and yang, a process calculation. Okay, so you have to connect with all senses. Okay, internal, external, internal, external, internal, external. Okay, the interior line, the exterior line, the interior line, the exterior line. Okay, so you have an internal wall and you have an external wall. You have to learn how to use it in location setting and direct signal location to your system, right? Calculate and modify a high line rotation position track communication at all levels of formation location to a system. So when you understand the space inside you that you're creating, you're actually seeing what it is. You're seeing command ships. You're seeing UFOs inside you. It's inside you, but it reflects outside through your realities. That's what makes it real. So you're in the matrix line settings, but you're taking it out through its reflex locations in that location or dualities. So you're actually seeing that in communications again with the hummingbird, right? So you get in that signal line interference. You get an indication of voice line travel communication line direct signals. Where's the voice line pattern coming from to your chakra settings? Which number? Which number? 1000 line setting. Okay, 1000 unit. That's how I see formation of chakras. I change its location setting directions. 1000 unit, right? So that's 1000 chakra line rotations. But where's that 1000 chakra coming from? If there's only 114 chakras in my body, brain activity line stream locations and setting, right? So that's 1000 line units in brain atmosphere line rotations into the left in position location in the right hemisphere, a balanced correlation setting of yin and yang process. Okay? So in that formation location system is all levels of clocking lines of 4 line triangulations. 4 clocking lines of the sun in position location of the moon. Okay? All right. So that's the correlation sign position location. So I just connected with 1000 chakras in position location and all of its convergence locations. Left and right hemisphere always has to be balanced. If you got 16 line perimeters and set locations of 60 million line perimeters, setting track communication setting, is there a difference? No. You think there's a difference because you're looking at the number, right? No. The balanced position of track line is the fluctuation line settings. Y line settings and position track lines and set locations. Y equals lines of flux capacitor. Coil resistors in position of track communication setting, all through track communication. Directing lines of 6, 0. Connecting lines of 6, 0, 0, 0. Track communication line interference. 6 position locations comes into 12, 12 signature line streams. Inline calculations into 4 operation line stream location settings. 12 equals lines of 4, 4 on line set location of 3, back into 7 location setting and direction. Okay. So what's that creating the set location line setting and directions? A location grid. Okay. Now that's getting complicated, right? This is going way above the set locations. So basically, it's kind of like understanding the pressure points and the vital points of your set location in your body. Knowing exactly the reverberation line channels. Okay, there's a nerve sending to your throat. It's a carotid, right? You're pinching the nerve, right? So to understand how to see these things, bring it in. Gypsy knows these line communications. And so does Heather. The track communications understanding is know exactly the feelers. Like you have to, if you run your finger down line rotation, you'll see the wire connectors. And if you really press position location of track lines and 2 line finger line rotations, you bring it in, you can see the graph. It comes out, right? And there's a monitor. right? So there's an impulse line, track line communication and settings, right? And you see electrical line interference, infusion line triangulation, off lines. There's a little bit of line condition that's offline condition of sealment, fix the position to infusion. Done, right? I feel that right away through energy signature lines, take my fingers off rotations, back to calculation, right? All through calculation of the throat. Okay? Now, do you see it? To see it, to understand it. Because what's happening is everything has its own sun, of its own moon, of its own projection. Multipass, right? So the video graph comes out right away, right? Do you see it? Do you actually see it through monitor? Do you see it through Schumann resonance? Do you see it through megahertz? Remember, there's an L-shaped line. The Schumann resonant locations. Do you see it through the zeros and ones? Do you see it through decimal points? How do you see the Schumann graph? Everything is a monitor. Your avatar sees everything through graph, through box location. So you have to understand the indication, how it works through your hologram settings. Graph communication setting in an all direct system. Okay. Sending track communication is line settings and scan location of center, operation server location of system. Okay. How it sees everything through setting. Okay. So in that information location, let's go in the box. Let's go into the box. Let's go into the box. What's happening? It's getting bigger and bigger, right? It's getting bigger and bigger. Okay. So in that position locations, you have to stand the center op, square lines, triangulation lines, and box location of X position location setting. Now, if you look really close, that's the top of your period, position location settings. The period communication line direct signal is the era calculation stream location. So you're taking the pyramid of 4 triangulation line settings and you bring it up, and then you see the pyramid above the system. It's a hologram, right? It's a hologram. So in line communication, don't look at positions, look at me. Because I'm behind the system. Always look behind, right? Right over left, and then you see it come out. And then you see it float up. And then you see it spin, right? Take a track communication line interference, director signals, right over left, left over right. Just trying to get you guys to understand how to get unbalanced communications, how to create a hologram line set location new settings. Now, the decimal points triangulates the center line communication system. 0 lines of 1 indicates lines of point system of 0 in set locations. Right? Now it gets complicated because the 0 line operates as center lines, communication lines, stream lines, operation surface, and triangulation. Okay? So what you're doing is you're creating an energetic dome lines around the pyramid line. So it's on one indicator line rotation of surface locations, right? Directing signal lines. Now it comes in a cobweaving line rotation, interference, and triangulation line connection at all levels of clock line rotation. Now in that direct signal line interference, the X2000 comes in, scans position, location, setting, and center position of operation. So it's getting top point line setting, right? So it looks like a flat surface, but what you understand that it's out, and it's in a triangulation and spinning and all around location, circulation, rotation, right? So you can't just see things in front or back. You got to see side, up and down, and across locations. So you're looking at the ceiling, okay? You're looking at the ceiling line. You're looking at the panels line. You're looking at the front. You're looking at the back. And you're looking at the grounds. That's how you have to start seeing things through a hologram now. Okay. Your pixel streamline calculation setting in direct signal is a higher level division location of the system. Now the track communication of civility lines and spacing line is now at 0.7 track communication line settings and directions in set locations. All right. So we all understand that. We did that quiz on information locations, how to indicate position location of 0 to 12. Truly understand that set line communications. 0 line grounds, okay, rotation, spin. So you're telling exactly 0 in your body, your chakra setting, do a rotation, spin to equal lines of 4. Rotation equals 4. All right. So the 4 line travels in line set location, solar generation, sets a Fibonacci line swirl, and set location is 2 solar generation lines of the sun and the moon, line communication. All right. So that's how you communicate with 0. Equal lines position location is rotation of 4. Right? That's all indicated inside your body. Okay. But is this in track communication or is it offline rotation? It's in track communications, right? Balanced position track line is understanding the light and the communication to its moon. The optical line rotation interference is understanding the correlation setting and direct signal to its position location to its capsule of set location. Okay? Now that's just all indication of zero gravity. And a rotation is equal lines of 4, right? So it's understand how to put the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols all together to create a hologram. To create a hologram. Okay? Yes, it's very powerful in set position of track lines. Yes, you understand more. To see beyond Trinity, you have to really understand to get all formation locations of all letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, all energy, vibration, frequency, and harmonics, all your chakra system, location system, all levels of your ears, of calculation setting, all direct setting, all balance. When you understand your chakras understand you more. So in affirmation location system, you have to understand the energy, the vibration, the frequency, the harmonics, the coloration, the lights that travels in telelocation of operates in space and time through its division location to its operation to its human residence, to its graph. Everything inside location has a graph of a chakra. Each chakra is an energetic graph line screen. It's a location system, but I'm just showing you how you turn lines of 0, equal line calculation setting, into rotations, equal line calculations of 4. That's how they communicate with each other. That's one panel communication setting in an algorithm location, which creates a website lines of a holographic stream, okay, through digital frame, okay? See, it's a lot different when you get into, you come into graphing screens, you come into digital frames, how to get into compute systems, come into green screens, right? There's no difference, but you're creating a hologram, okay? All through rotation, all through zero gravity, okay? So once you get understanding that line, the chakra comes out, right? So you see it, monitor, line rotation, circulation, triangulation lines. Let's change the concept communications. Done. Right? Goes back inside your body. Right? It's all set, ready to go. It comes out, goes back in. Comes out, comes back in. So it's a projection. That's what happens locations when you're going through a film. You place it on a line communication of your wall and you watch a video. Right? Your chakras have that too. So in that line rotation interference has a coloration line change. It changes the replication system to all levels. All right, so you have to really understand the foundation lines of grounds. Okay, so come in position of brackets, lines, and you got 2 hanger line rotations. Okay, inside locations. Hangers going this way, and hangers going that way. Okay, setting track communications. So that's indication of pi. That's indication of pi. Right, hieroglyphics. All right. Now you have to understand the importance of set location line settings. All right, so every chakra has a representation to its film that's connected to high line in the center and high position of track communication to its pyramid that's activating location setting to its placebo that courts its division location setting track communication into its indication of its digital frame. The center position location to its setting really understand how you're calculating modify. Bracket communication of 0, 0, 0, and 0 lines of position location of 4 lines of rotation surface. Right? Okay, so you get a bracket of 4 lines of zeros and 4 line connections. So in that line calculation setting, you count the lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you count the lines 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in that track lines, that's 4 lines of 3. Calculation lines 7 pi. Okay. All right, so that's an indication how you communicate to this, and that's how it becomes 7 pi. So in that track lines, this is pi in 7 position rotation. It's very complicated. So it's kind of like seeing anything through surface is really understand how to use the hieroglyphic locations and setting in its cybergenetics or anything through cryptoline communication setting and direction. Okay, but I'm just showing you exactly how to use your settings through holographic line calculation setting. So in set locations, you bring in the sun, in set position to the bottom, circle line calculation, high center and track lines, brings in position location to a system, all levels of calculation. Okay. Now the center calculation wants to change lines. We change the 7 pi, line conditions of 8 in center. Okay. 9 in line rotation, 10 in position locations, 11 in signal, and 12 back in line rotations. 12 equals lines of 8. Sets calculations of 8 position line track lines of space and time. Center direct line centers. Sets up calculations sending position of track communication of a blip. Calculation line interference of magnetic high information line stream inside location. Okay. Everything is created through a monitor, through a graph, through a screen. So if you know how to use your computers, there's no difference. It's connecting line interference of a connections to a CGI or a green screen. No difference at all. The only difference is in set location line setting is you're doing it through the mind. Okay, so it's a lot more different, right? So you try to understand the film projections of the light, try to understand the film projections of the moon, try to understand how to coordinate its position of its hieroglyphics, calculate streamline interference, rotation surface, calculate line interference, like calculate stream location and directions. All right, but it's all calculated modified in set location. Okay, complicated stuff, guys, but you really have to understand how to use the avatar through our calculations hologram line setting, because the civility is now at 0.7. Okay, the calculation lines take track communication lines of 3 lines as locations, right? That's 3 indication line interference, equal calculations of 4, 7 in track communications, equal line calculations of pi in direction. Okay, so that's what you're working with in position, location, and setting. Okay, that's what the calculation is to your earth perception set location. Okay, now that's for spacing line. Triangulation interference is position and track communications, right? So it's all about understanding that we're in the divine line stream. Okay, the activity streamline rotation centers has to really understand the chakra location setting directions. That's why you have to understand how to get into dictation, get into command centers, right? Get in position locations, right? Number 6 is out of calculation, new formation line sentence. Get back in line. Boom. 6 was out of position. So like little kids running around. Right? Little kids running around inside you. You have to get control of that. 6, get back in line. No difference of you babysitting, right? Getting back in line of formation location, getting your chakras in alignment. They're little kids inside your body, okay? But they're very, very, very powerful. They're the central system in your location setting of your future adaptation, your avatar. Okay? All right. That's exactly why you get in troubles. You get in so much trouble line kinesis, Trinity, because all you do is focus on your emotions. You can't just focus on one signal, my dear. You got to focus on all levels of 8. 1 and 8. 1 and 8, right there. 1 and 8. There's 1 and 8. Circular line calculations into yin yang. Congratulations. Track line center position to locations process. Okay? You can't just focus on one setting, right? Because the chart is going to go, okay, Trinity, you're only calculating one line center line of position location, most line interference. But what about us? What about us? What about us? What about the 5 line communication line interference? You got 114 chart communication line interference, and you only want to communicate with one? What happened to motion line interference location track communication operation surface? You understand? It's confused inside position. You just want to communicate with emotional setting where all the chakras, we're going to leave you. Body reaction. Because you're not paying attention. You rather concentrate on this, but not worry about anything else instead of location line interference. Right? So one's in position, but the other ones are leaving. We're leaving. Bye, Trinity. Right? Off calculation. Off grid. Rotation line interference. Bars calculation stream lines. Trojan interference line calculation setting. Logan communications. Off grid, offline. All because you don't pay attention to your chakras inside. How is that any different location if you communicate with your atoms? One atom line rotations and position locations. Is your atoms right here. Right? One is lonely in line rotation. Okay? This is the formation locations that you're into your own compute system locations. You're fighting the lines of your atoms, trying to understand your connection to your survival line rotations. These are your atoms and set locations. Look at that. There's Trinity through motion. There's all the atoms waiting. So when she gets back informations, what happens to the atoms? Setting track lines. Bloop. Setting track lines. Bloop. Setting track lines. Bloop. Setting track lines. Bloop, 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 bloop. And a formation line connection, high center position location of bounce back and track communication lines and position location traction. Hooah! Okay? I've shown you exactly how this all works. You work with one or you work with all. There's no in between. Okay? You understand how that all comes together? They work as a team. You work as a team. And that's how correlate and align and position your atoms. One line off center, but you'd rather leave all the atoms on the other side on the fence, right? They're going to leave. If they leave line rotation interference, that's a whole body reaction to your settings. They're inside your body, but they're not in position. Oh, I got sore back. Ah, no, my neck. What's going on? Oh, boy, what's happening here? Oh, I'm getting glitches. My jaw locked. My fingers are locked. My toes are locked. Separation, 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 separation. Right? Because the only thing that you focus on is the emotional connections to your systems. You have to focus on all your senses all at once. Use your frames all at once, all the time, all the time, all the time. Not just one line setting. So it's you're looking at all the atoms, and the atoms are going, what do you want me to do? All right. And the atoms are going, well, I think it's about time that you understand what's going on here, right? You can see everybody's information location of gathering here. Yes, I know that by my emotional system, I don't understand the balance, position, locations, how to get back in setting. Well, we're here to help you out. Okay? Okay. See? Do you understand the importance, what it is in set location line settings, and why you guys evolving your system to its location system? And all track line connections to a setting? How to off positions to your settings, all through all connections, because that's all you're focusing on is the emotional system and nothing else to equation? Right? Do you see how powerful that is? You see how powerful that is? I'm just showing you, man. You have to understand the importance. So it's one or all or nothing. Okay, so in that line rotation center position of track lines, you understand the ground lines. Okay, so you got the holographic line stream in the line rotations, all right? It's directing signals. Okay, I don't need to add the numbers, letters, and shapes because it's already set position of traction. So you got 0 lines, in this location of box position triangulation, triangulations into question mark and percentage over pi line rotations into 9 settings, track communication. This is where you put positions to a holographic line setting. Fibonacci line swirl, center position track lines, track state location setting direction. Okay. Now, understanding the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols is understanding how to communicate with the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Communicate with the box line. 4 box line rotation center. I got to go back to sleep. All right, so the box wants to go back to sleep. So the 9 comes up in line rotations, right? Come on, get back and work. It's set location line interference. We need your 4 line streamline connection high setting. Box again. Oh, all right, give me 5 minutes, all right, and I'll get up and set locations. No, that's not good enough, right? Your business locations, it's all or nothing. All right, let me put something on, all right? Okay, set location, center line, travel line positions, box line center, and rotation setting, track communication setting, directions, back in signal, and center position. Hooah! It's all communication line direction. So that's how something's out of sync and how it goes back in frame. So it knows exactly what to do in the set location setting because it works together with the triangulation line setting and track communication to its position of box location. 3 box line settings right there. Okay. Travel communication line setting is really important to set high positions to your system. Powerful stuff, isn't it? But it's all kept back information, isn't it? Right? So once it's back information, bring in the sun. Rotation surface, set position traction. Okay. Isn't that amazing? Right? How you communicate. How you communicate. Where the box lines, a 4 line wants to go back to sleep, but 9 comes back in line center locations. Come on, get back to work. Right? So we all have to understand how to work that line communication. Yes, Andy. That's what it is, Andy. Okay. So we have to get into the monotone, how we communicate to our system, right? How we say falsity line narratives and line rotation interference. And that track communication setting directions comes into this line communication. Now, how is that any indications to your chakras? Your chakras are going, I don't understand the indication line interference. That doesn't mean anything. He's going, right? It's confusing anomalies. The tracker system going, they're having a meeting. They're all calculated, modified. They're getting very confused because you don't understand the communication, the application line interference, specification, high interference line calculation to your alphabetical set of locations. So it's like communications in position track lines. Charlie Brown, when he communicates with the teacher, right? Can you say that again? So in that set line conditionalized system, and anything in track communication line centers understands the vibrational location system. You have to understand how to use your chakras through vibration inside. Okay? So if you're saying blah, 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 doesn't matter. Is it balanced inside your body? And your chakra is going, right? So in that center communication setting, it's in direct signal locations. It knows exactly the joke, which is just punchline, right? So it's funny, right? You're making a joke, but they understand. They understand. Let me say it again. They understand what you're saying through vibration. Okay? So being a kid anomaly is all line communication setting. Be a kid all over again in set position. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. All right, so track calculation line settings. Direct signal location of panels. So this is more of a fun line communication streamline. Rotation service location. Travel line center position is operation. Center calculation of the earth line. Again, always in service locations. ISO, rotation service. Triangulation of 3 set line connections. So number 3 is set into a triangulation. Right? So 6 is here, 7 is here, 8 is here, 9 is here, 10 is here, 11 is here, and 12 is here. So how are you going to put all this information to its balance? So it gets back in setting. Because it's all construction of workers getting an interference. So track communication 3 lines. 3 is going, come on, guys, let's get back to work line interference with track communication. 6, what are you doing? Sorry, I was off calculation line interference. Right? So 6 goes back in line in center position. Right? And basically, so 3 is, there's all calculated modified. So 3 is the leader. There's got to be a leader in set position, all of his operation. There's got to be a leader in set location in your chakra setting. Because each chakra line set location has a different voice line. So it's a commanding voice and set location system, but they come together in formation line settings. So if one line set location is 7, is not in communication to a system, it goes off calculations, right? It goes off calculations. And then basically 10 sees 7 off calculations, 10 goes line positions, 10 goes line rotation and position of balance, and triangulation of 3 set location setting and pi position traction. Now the track communication lines of 10 communicates with a 7, right? 7, where are you in line communications? Where were you last night? Position track lines. I was connected to 5. 5 was having trouble, and I was trying to understand the inner line calculating setting to directions, but he didn't want to understand the track interference. Right? So 10 goes, oh, okay, so the center calculates line interference of the transformation line stream indication was off calculations. Yes. Okay, so, well, let's get back to work in set position, right? So 7 goes back in track lines, 7 equal lines of 6, 7 goes back in center in rotation surface in the ground lines of operation setting. Okay? You got to understand their children inside you. See, you guys got to get balanced with the emotional line settings. But that's all direct signal. So it's getting all your chakras back in information, right? 7, what are you doing there? You should be over here. 6, how many times you're out of line? Get back in line, set location setting. 3, come back here. Where were you last night in set location of travel? Right? That's what it is. I don't tell you these things. General doesn't tell you all these things. But this is what I go through every single line connections. Okay? It's important you understand your emotional track inside position to your settings. How to connect to all levels of formation and putting back in line. Because they work for you. Because if they don't work for you, they stay dormant. They don't move. They rotate, but they don't move. So they're like, so you communicate with 6. After this line communication, it's here's a voice. Here's your voice, right? Right? It's exciting, right? So what are you telling 6 to do? It's a throw pattern, right? Setting correlation line interference of 6th position track line. Done. It's all done. All through 6, right? And that track communication puts it back in division line settings, back in rotations, back in surface, back in alignment. Because you communicated in that line communications all over the 6th position of rotation. Okay? So powerful of what you guys are coming into. Okay, so in track lines of communication line setting, all right? It is. It's nothing but a family, Gypsy. But you have to communicate them like kids. You got to take control of that. All right. You don't have to voice line. You can do it through telepathy, but I'm just telling you, General doesn't tell you everything I do, but you have to understand these things. This is how you get an information location setting, because sometimes they're asleep. Sometimes they're off wandering, but they're always inside your body. They're never going to leave your body. But if they stay dormant, they're not going to communicate with you, and they're going to run away. Hey, number 3, come back. No, I don't want to come back. You're not connected to me anymore. What makes you special to every line communications? What is this? What do I have to do? Do I have to give you an apple? Is this a favoritism to its location setting? Hello, right? So 3's upset. So you have to communicate. Why is number 3 upset? Right? You understand the process? Gypsy calculations, Andy, Tina. Line communication, Prismar, Heather line rotation, position location, Trinity position location, all of the calculation, Chris position location of Andy position location, high center, position location operation. All right, these. It's exciting. This is a fun day. You have to have fun inside, but you have to communicate them like they are kids, because they're running around in fields. They're over here, and they got to get back in line, right? So they have to go back to work because they work for you. Because they don't work for you, they just sit there. They just 5 comes up. What are you doing? It's allocation. I don't know. I don't feel good. All connected to line set allocations back in traction. Thank you, 5. I feel better now. See, that's connection setting and track communications. I'm showing you a powerful line position, how you connect to your chakras. I've set up a story frame. There's no different. Okay. It's like basically a friend of yours is sick. So you're going over to them and giving them soup, right? Whoa. Wow. Communication, right? So exactly, Gypsy, too much caffeine. Because if you're not aware of what you're eating and drinking, too much caffeine, line interference, location, right? Is it know exactly what they're doing through all levels of reaction? You have to react because they have face reactions inside location setting. Their intelligence, they're kids, they're inside your body, and they're trying to understand why they're inside location setting. Is understanding the how, the all indication. Okay? So you have to have fun with it, but you got to keep them in formation because they run around line side location. You're saying, General doesn't understand position location track line. Hitting this planet, hitting this planet, hitting this planet, taking the solar system. He can't find me. He can't find me. Uh-oh, he found me. Done by equation. Right? Nothing can get away with any line rotation instead of position of traction. So that's what it is. It's what you eat and drink inside your body. So if you have endorphin kicking in the inline rotation, air. It's all different line communication setting direction. It's all can be modified inside location. Everything has a voice line, right? So if one's sick, blowing his nose, like that's like connection high center location. 7 comes in. What are you doing with their track communication line? Everyone's get back to work. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe.
something is clogging me. I don't know what it is, right?
I'll connect with general line communication line setting. Okay, wait there. Out the equation. And communication line interference. Thank you, general communication. Done. So in that position of track communication, everything has a voice line, track line. It's communication to highest interference, how it relates its system to its locations, right? Like I said, I don't tell you these things, but you have to know these things. Okay? You're working with extremely, extremely, extremely powerful chakras inside your body. Okay? So the inner line calculation center, they're just little kids and they're trying to understand why they're inside you. Right? They basically wrote routers and routers lines and they travel on a communication atom. Woo, 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 this is fun, right? And calculation center locations, and I say, hey, your track lines are off on the interference. Get back inside location you're setting.
Okay.
Right? So he gets off the atom line rotations to get back in position. You got to be an inner child in all formation, guys. That's the only way you can get in correlations to heal your body. So you have to integrate set location, know exactly which one's sick, which one's offline setting, which has a stomach ache, why you have a sore back, why you have a sore neck, is because you don't connect to them inside position to your settings. But the only thing you focus on is the emotional system. 1 out of 5 is not great. 1 out of 6 is not great. 1 out of 7 is not great. 1 out of 8 is no good. You got to connect with all lines of communications inside your body. Okay? Not 1 out of 8, 8 out of nothing is everything, which means you're connecting to all levels of your sensories in set position to all track communications. Right? Now, this is more of a fun live. I want you to understand how this all works for you. The more you connect to your chakras through numbers, letters, shapes, and symbols, then you understand the better communication settings. And then you don't have to worry about these things and understand how the process comes into your set location system, right? It's so important you understand how to use it, right? To balance out their emotional system if they're having problems, you know? If 5 is coming in line rotation interference and it just finishes its job, and basically it's got a connection line interference, electrical center line interference that's off calculation of settings, where's it coming through communications? Where's the indication line setting, right? It was doing too much of the triangulation, right? So how is that any different location than what happens to you physically in an alignment with communication setting? Oh, I got a sore finger. Oh, I banged my elbow. Oh, I banged my knee. Oh, I stubbed my toe. There's no difference, okay? Now, in that sunlight counting system, once you go inside, you have to understand the emotionals of its setting because everything's upset except one. What, you think one's going to take over line connection high central location of 113 chakras inside position of your body? Right? So that's 113 over 1. That's over factor, over pi, over calculus, over drive, over modem, over connection. So we all have to understand how to interline its communication line setting, communicate to them in all line connection settings to its inner child. You're an inner child. You have to communicate to them through an inner child. Okay? That's the only way you can communicate to your chakras, right? You can't say in position locations if it doesn't understand your energy lines because you don't understand the vibrational graph line of the coloration. So let's say position location in 80, right? 80 is basically taking a walk in set location line setting. I'm trying to get in medical location setting, but you have to stand in triangulation location what 80 is inside line connections, right? 80 is an infinity, right? Of zero operation, right? Calculate streamline and position location set up their general 80 line rotations is in track communication. Congratulations, high interference. That's great. Great job. Movement positions, back in traction.
Okay.
Out. Done. 80's done, right? 80's done his job. It's all done, right? Comes to you, confirmation, video graph. Show you what it's done. Triangulation, reset, put back in your body. So we all understand how it all works, okay? So you have to really understand how to communicate with everything inside your system, right? This is more of a fun life. This is fun. But to understand you and all formation location is all levels of focusing on you, okay? It goes way beyond anything in settings. So it's about you understanding to put everything back in a formation of its alliance. Okay? Or it's going to run its own system. And if it runs its own system, I got upgrades, landing position, location, track lines, general doesn't know. I'm out of here. What just happened? Something just left your system. Comes back. I'm powerful. I'm the alter ego. Line, position, location, track lines. I'm going to take down all line set and locations of atoms. Hooah. Now, it's a comedy show. But it's real because it's inside your body. So you have to react to everything that everything does in set location with settings. That's how you create an alter ego. And what do you think an alter ego is going to do? Take down every single line calculation setting that's inside you over time. Okay? So really, really understand the process. Okay? Whoop, whoop. Okay? It's all direct setting location of balance. But just don't focus on one particular thing, right? One particular thing, right? Because it affects everything inside your body. Okay? That's what you have to understand. You have to use all your senses all the time when you're communicating to everything inside locations. And then it recognizes your settings, right? And then they come to you, right? They come to you for help. They need help inside your body. So it comes in line interference. General mind communication line centers are offline rotation interference. Can you fix it through airline creation, high calculations, or rotation? Sure. Confirmation line settings, track communication done. Thank you, General. Out, right? So in that communication line in directions, you're balancing yourself more. You're uplifting the vibrational graph line streams and set location and settings to higher levels of division. Yes, it's epic power, Heather. That's exactly what it is. So in that calculation system, once you understand how to communicate with them one by one, they work for you. They help you. They give you your abundance. Oh my gosh. Mega pass. So Jenner, are you telling me that every cell in your body, every atom, every molecule, every position, location, every chakra can give you abundance? Yes, that's true. Because you understand the full connection inside line setting. So once you understand that, not only they work for you, but they protect you. Hello. And when they protect you, what happens to that site location system? You're all levels of formation of alliance. Keep them always in line. Keep them always in line. Keep them all in line. The one thing that you guys deal with that you got to focus on more than anything else is your emotional system, because it sets off calculations that chaotic line stream locations. If it did a track line calculation setting of 55, it's alarm, right? It's alarm, right? Air. How do you think that's going to affect everything inside your body? Everything's going to react. Right? So, so really understand your life is inside you. Okay? Now, in that set line communication, understand if center communication line settings in all track communication system is all levels of volume inside me. So I connect in high position location settings and track line communications all levels of command line rotation. So it's like a hotel with many rooms. So in that track communication, understand, oh my gosh, I understand the track communication line streams in that direct location system, right? So in that formation location system, you understand that your whole life is inside you. That's a mega pass. So trying to understand the center position location to its operation when it comes into the civility. Yes, your body is nothing but civility. Okay, it's like mini malls. It's like a gymnasium. It's like a theater. It has everything inside that everything has outside locations in the setting. That is your space and time that you're creating, right? You have to be aware of these things. Yes, it has a cinema inside locations. Okay, let's say inline rotation interference. Let's say you get 47,000 lines of atoms sitting in the same role, right? But the molecules come up and want to take over the seats. I'm sitting here. It's my turn. Excuse me. I don't think so. You want to sit down and watch the movie? Like I said, I'm here. I'm here to take over set locations. No, right? So you got the atoms and they got the molecules fighting with each other, decide who's going to sit where, right? So who puts that in order? Who puts that in order? Me, me, me. Okay, right? So it doesn't matter the competing line interference, atom rotation line interference, attractive engaged setting. They were here first. They sit down. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So now molecules are sitting back in line communication, back into formation of lines because of me, commanding them to go back. Okay? So you get the atoms in front, molecules, and they're looking, and okay, I need popcorn. So atoms go, oh, get it, right? Friendship, relationship, partnership. Okay. Now the atoms are comfortable. They have their popcorn. Molecules have their popcorn. Now they're all watching TV all at once on cinema screen. Hooah! Cinematic journey for sure. That's exactly what it is. But if you put it that way, try to understand is that you are a babysitter, babysitting little children. So when you understand adaptation, they understand more levels of surface. So you're talking to a complete system that's inside, but they have no formation of balance inside locations because they only interact with system locations because the only thing that they know is that what you should know is your emotional setting. Right? Generally know it's emotional line interference. Let's take it over to Archimedes line positional gauge traction. Excuse me. Okay. Right? So they know who's in control. If anything's out of control, they know how to get back in control because they listen to me. Let me say that again. They listen to me. All right. So, and that's the position that you guys have to come into. Interline its calculation of its interface and communicate with the settings. Understand the holographic line position to its system, but really understand the track calculation setting to each track information to your system inside locations. Right? So it's all about understanding when Captain came in and tried communication line center asking a question. I said, whoa, what's the correlation setting durations? Correlation direct line center position location. Is that what you want me to do? Position on track line? Out to equation. So you told the set locations and I setting to a certain line of a certain valve, to a certain correlation, to a certain atom, to molecular line struck locations, to a certain cell position attractions. Now it's already in line rotation interference. And Captain's going, what did I do? 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 Right? So you have to really stand to balance these things out in set location line setting. They're little children in the line set of you, but they're a complete system of memory. Okay? You got to get balance with that line kind of system. You can't just volume your emotional line setting. Right? 4 comes up. What's the problem here? Number 6 took my triangulation surface. I need it back because if I don't get it back, I can't set align my calculation, straight lines, and triangulation. That's how real it is. It's a formation of a light that's inside of you. Okay? I'm trying to show you guys metaphorically how it goes line setting. It's no difference in what you do with your friends in any way and form. If somebody's sad, you're going to approach them and ask them, what's the problem? How is that any different communicating yourselves in your body? It isn't. You've got to get in that position, location of calculation. All right? That's what it is. That's all it is. Okay? Getting your friends in relation to a partnership location system, and you realize that 4 is back in division locations. It's got its triangulation reset back. Right? Because 6 wanted to play with it. Hooah. Okay? You take control. All right? Or it's going to keep upsetting your system. Right? Isn't that fun? Understanding more position and track lines. So that's why you got to get in that settings, guys. So when we're on our issues, everything comes from inside. But think of your life as a life cycle of formation locations that your instability of its settings to its town or its location system. You have to learn how to communicate it, ground and setting line interference. So you are the psychological of the result that fixing everything inside location your systems. You have to treat it as an inner child. Okay? You can't have a command system if you don't understand your settings. Each chart has its own formation of its own vibration, has its own frequency. And when you reach those frequencies, right, instead of location line settings, track communication line interference, you get in that direct location system?
Yes, I did, General. It's in position of balance now. You're good to go.
Confirmation, copy that, done, right? So in that position of track communication, you really have to start connecting and focus on your system, Andy, right? So let me just show you guys how this all works. It's going to find balance because this is what it's so important, because this is how you communicate your settings inside. I go through this every single day with every cell, every molecule, every atom, every proton, electron, neutron, photon. It doesn't matter. You have to be in control, or it's going to be all over the place. And it's going to react to your body. It's going to go dormant. It's going to right? So we all have to connect to that. Okay, so bracket setting the high position track lines. 0 operation, 1 line setting, 2 position operation, 3 line position. Okay, so central lines of 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So 3 is offline calculation, right? It's doing something, right? So this is all levels of your emotional setting, emotional line interference, equal line calculation setting, knows the set location of setting. But am I aware of what's going on with 3? Yes, I know it's emotional interference, so that's okay. But when I ask you to go back in position, back in position. Okay? So the 3 knows exactly set up a 3 triangulation line set done through his equation, right? Travels out and goes back in position, right? 2 line signature stays in center, but it's still rotating. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm saying center line communication, stop position, right? So you have to get in that line rotation, because if you don't get in that rotation, you're going to come into high levels of volume line rotation, center and position traction. It's going to keep going. I say stop position traction. Okay, General. All right. Setting position location line settings, 2 tracks communication line center interference, travel position location out of the equation line interference of 3 track locations. In track communication line interference, you have 0 line rotations. Now 0 is going it's going through all planetary lines of your solar system, tracking communication line directions, all calculates line settings done through equation. It knows what it's doing. Okay. Do you understand the emotional interference, how it causes line position your settings? You have to communicate to each chakra. It's extremely important. Okay. But they're little kids inside. They don't know any better. You have to get control of that. So once you understand that, yes, chakra communications. I went through frame in line position locations to truly understand, if anything in line communication, why number 4 is upset, because number 6 took his triangulation interface. Okay? You might think it's a laughing matter, but it's real. But you have to understand, it's a life force that's inside of you. Little intelligent line communication line interference there. Right? Communicating your settings. Right? Okay? All formation locations, all set position locations, ready to go, General. Copy that. Out through equation. Right? They're happy inside. Not just content, they're happy. They're comfortable. So if they're comfortable inside your body, that is a good choice. In position locations. Triangulation line set. Putting 1 line division to another line division to position locations. 2 line signatures off interference. Why? Triangulation line interference notification. Why can't you get notification?
I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to leave.
Get back to formation location setting. Track line interference. Are you off calculation stream location? Direct line set position operation surface.
No, I don't want to do this anymore.
get back in line communication, right? Then I get my voice in line connections, get back in triangulation, 2-line set, back together, right? Not missing signals, not missing programs, not missing triangulations or anything formation locating, high calculation lines, allocating line stream location setting, right? Back in position, you take control, okay? It's more fun. See, now you understand the process, how this works. You're working with little kids inside, but they're most powerful set location line settings. Okay? They have inner line calculation settings. They hear everything, they see everything, they know everything. They're waiting for you to understand. Right? And that's allocation system, track lines. Okay? High position line center interference doesn't locate in the highest center position track line calculation to its settings.
Wait a minute. What's a triangulation interface position location calculations?
Well, the triangulation line interference is a program location line indication, high position location program. It sets line calculation in your system. It opens all tracking communication line settings.
Can you talk slower? You're going too fast.
Well, if you pay attention to communication line interference, we don't have this problem communication line system. I guess you're not paying attention. Make a pass. Okay. So I'm just showing you of what you're dealing with every single time, every second, every minute, every hour. Okay. They are communicating to themselves. And if they don't have control, they control their own systems, which is all sporadic, all chaotic, right? They come out of your system. Body reaction, body reaction, right? Body reaction, body reaction, body reaction, right? Glitching, sweating, right? Scratching, okay? Palpitation, too fast, its locations. Feet, why are they getting swollen? Not communicating your feet. You got to communicate with your feet. Everything in set locations and indication and settings. Put it back in traction. You're taking command. You are in control. If you're not in control, they don't know who to talk to. So if they don't know who to talk to, what happens to that set location system? What happens? They separate, but they're inside you. And that information, split. What, you don't think atoms and molecules can split? Yes. See, that's what you don't see, and that's what you don't understand. See? It's all direct signal to the location system, right? Half-line signal line position. Don't understand the body. Oh, position location off calculation. Now, that line rotation interference, you got to bring communication to high interference. So next T1000 comes in. Puts it back in position. Output equation. All through an XT1000 line. XT1000s only come in position locations if you're really off center in your body, which means that the connections to the atoms are failing or malfunctioning, or they're not connecting the right signal through triangulation line system, or they're just, if they shut down, the XT1000s come in and they fix it. Okay. You can't have malfunctions in one atom because it affects all atoms. Rotation center there, position of track communications. It's all levels of settings. So one position off, all position off. Welcome back, team. Now you understand the importance, right? Every cell line communication has its own face. Every atom, every molecule, no difference location setting. Everything has its own intelligent locations. But you're dealing with little kids. Try and understand. For example, getting activated. It's in a position of track communications. All right. So here we go. in line rotation positions. They're all coming in. Okay, so now in their central calculation streamlines the position, operation service. This is great. Hey, look at this. Hey, we're in a new body. Hey, this is awesome. We're alive. Hey, this is cool. Who are you? It's Dory. Set position to track communication setting. Oh, this is fantastic. All right, hold on a sec. Whoa, what's that over there? So the connection and all the settings, when you're activated, it's trying to understand why it's inside your body is the how. And it realizes there's something that's offsetting, right? So it's going to try to communicate with you, right? And it's going and it just bounces back. You're not in position of tractions, which means you're being stubborn. Okay, so you get an energetic wall, and it tries to break through. We're going to connect the line interference. We're going to break this wall. So center calculation breaks free. Center calculation back and track communication line in our line rotation position. So once it comes in position location line setting, what it does is it scans your whole body right away. And it's amazing because it sees everything through frame. So it's directing its signals, going through its atoms, molecules, it's going through its structure lines, it's going through its division location. It's trying to understand why it's inside your body. Okay? And it realizes, oh, I remember now. So you start to remember. One atom, remember location, line, interference, remembers track communication, setting direction. Woo! Light bulb goes on, right? That's one atom line rotation interference. Instead of saying, hey guys, we're all together now. Yeah. Party, 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 party. So they're all working together now as a unit, right? So there's not one off signal in set locations. You're working together as a team. So it's amazing when you get into that set locations, but they understand why they're inside your body. Is understanding the how. Is getting into your memory lines. So once you get into your memory lines, you get into a correlation system, and then you really have a party inside the location of your body settings, which is extremely powerful. Set positions, right? So that's what it is. It's exactly what happens when it goes to the activation settings. It has to remember why it's inside that body. And once it understands, oh, the interrelease center line position. Yeah, back attraction. Woo! Setting position line off interference. No, let's put that back in center. So they're going to fix everything and set position right away. Okay? And that's why it gets hot and cold. Infusion, communication, cold infusion, line set location, body containment, soft setting. Let's go into line rotation and containment. Okay, in line direction. Center communications back lines, inner line protected in the high setting, dietary and center line position, electrical wall, graph line. Back to calculation line, seam down through equation, right? So these are the things that you have to understand in track communication. Yes, Captain, this is way beyond. Okay? You have little intelligence running around inside your body. Okay? You got to get balanced with that. And you have to communicate to them. That's the only way you're going to understand anything through this hologram stream. Because now you're in the civility. Okay? It's like calculation. How's your triangulation line interference position, track interference, location, position, track lines? Well, the triangulation line interference is good in position location line settings. I'm trying to still work on my track and communication rotation surface. You'll get it in position, location, line, center, position, and operation. I guarantee it. Well, I hope so, because the communication line interference and track communication line and line rotation has to understand the calculation to its setting. You're right, position, location to its system. You're communicating with each other. Multipass. You're having a conversation at least. But you can't keep them dormant. What, are you going to have the atoms fly by in line rotation interference and look at every single time they see? You're not going to stop and ask what's going on in that rotation line interference? Set of visit and track line. Atom comes by, floating around line rotation, sends the position location to calculation, puts it back track. The other one looks back, line rotation. Now they're back, right? That's paying attention to all set locations. There's no difference, right? When somebody needs help on the street, are you going to walk by? Or are you going to help them out? What, is it dependent on the situation? That's correlated to high interference location of fear. Because you understand how to use the mind, adaptation lines to location of surface locations. It's all psychological calculation setting. How to communicate is the most important thing. Okay, you have to get in that information, especially when you're creating holographic line set locations. Or you're going to have problems with 1 or 2, or 3 or 4, or 5 or 6, or 7 or 8, or 9 or 10, or 11 or 12, or 106, or 105. 100 line set doesn't want to be in traction. 106 is 6. Line set location not is in an aligned position location system. Off calculations at 3 doesn't want to understand position locations. 4 is fighting with lines of 9. Forget about 10. 10's missing. You understand? That's the important you understand how to all calculate, modify inside location of your settings, all through adaptation. Okay? I wanted to show you how real it is and what you are dealing with from inside your systems of operation. Okay? That's the importance why you guys come into your inner child first. All right? That's exactly what it is. And all site locations, right? Getting an information location setting, you get in better communications, right? Just have a regular conversation, right? With your golf buddy. Right? We teed off today in this location. No, that's tomorrow. Right? How's your family communication line setting? No, they're doing well. How's your family doing? Communication. You can't keep anything dormant. You can't ignore anything inside your body. It's alive now. It's a feeding source. It's a reference setting. Every position to all circuit location setting is all levels of your adaptation location of your avatar. That's already ready. You're not ready because your effector system and only thing you concentrate on online is all calculated modified to your emotional settings. Okay? That doesn't help the situation in any way or form, does it? Everybody focuses on everything else, but they don't want to focus on themselves inside. You can't just concentrate on one line rotation interference to track communication settings. There can be 27 million lines of atoms as off calculation. You have to communicate in this triangulation. So when you're calculating and you're communicating to atoms, we'll get into that process later, but you have to understand the activity location of brain setting. Truly understand how to service location to a system, but it's also psychological communication to a setting. So it's kind of like you are basically your own therapist, your own psychoanalyst. Your calculate and modify is the psychological reset to psychosis. Understand how to communicate to every line, position, location, and setting, and track communication in your system. Everything is increment line calculations, increment line rotations. Okay? You have to understand the power that's inside your body of what you have to know is how to communicate. Okay? And that's why I keep saying to everyone on the team is just focus on yourself. Okay? That's how you hear your body, because they pay attention and they listen. You are in command, because if you're not in command, they're going to run their own systems. I created a highline interference location, alter ego line communication. Bye, General. Now, where do you think those alter egos are going to go? Formation alliance. Right? You just set a formation location in million line settings. Congratulations. No, you just didn't create an alter ego. You created an alliance. Oh my gosh, compromise and set position location line setting. Right? Do you understand the importance now? Okay? It's not just all few chakras, it's all your chakras trinity. Right? You have to connect with all your cells, your atoms and molecules, but this takes time. Okay, you really have to understand your chakras first. Each chakra has a fluctuation line, set location, and triangulation line system. Try to understand the navigation. You have to get in your scannings, right? What if 4 wants to go, but it doesn't have a feeler? A feeler, communication, and compressor. The compressor needs to be changed, right? It has to come from you. It can't come from all line set locations because they're in their own levels of operation. I control everything of its own command, which is its formation of its lines. So it's soldiers that are working for me inside. Let me say that again. It's soldiers that inside your system that you have to get in control of. Get back in line. Right? Yes. But you got to be the inner child because you're working again with just little kids. Right? But the track communication line direct signals in your position locations comes from your settings. So they recognize your voice, grid line, or interference. Uh-oh, general again. Right? So I'm getting information back through atom line rotations. Every atom has an indication to a number. Now, we'll get into that process later. But you understand the algorithm location to its setting tracks its calculations, right? So atom line interference has a calculation of virus line that streams the location line system and triangulation line interference. It wasn't setting up the optical line stream location to its setting through its planet. So in track communication, high setting position operation surface, I had to communicate with the atom, rotate its surface back in triangulation line setting, put in new identification code line stream location to its setting, back in position. Thank you, General. Right? That's it. So when they work for you, they go through line position locations. They're already in line settings and position locations. They work for you, or they run their own systems. And you don't want that because they separate from you, but they're inside your body. Okay? Exactly. The new identifications from a plain old plane to a DNA to a chakra. Yes, that's exactly it. Every atom has identification code, and every second, every minute, every hour, it travels its line set location, but changes its anomaly of a reset position to its locations. Okay? You're never indicating to the same atom. Why? Because your emotional system is changing too fast in correlation of clocking. Okay? So in that line rotation interference, every atom is its own GOD. Every molecule, every cell. It has to, but it's inside you. So what you're dealing with is the formations of your avatar. That's a complete system. Okay? So it's trying to understand you inside. And if it doesn't understand you, it's going to go off on its own. Right? So let's stand up here in position location line settings. General's taken over everything in line position location. I'm tired of listening to the set location setting. Well, hold on a second here. Maybe we can talk to General. He's a little bit more line settings off calculation. He gets angry sometimes, so maybe we should give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think so. I think we should form an alliance. Is everybody with me? Whose side are you on? It's you dealing with you. So these are things you got to get balanced with because you are dealing with you inside through a life. This is a life force that you have to get balanced with, especially when you get into your emotional system of track locations. Okay? All right. Look at the tree of the person and you'll see the intelligence of the floor. Yeah, in that line position location settings. All right, so we're at 130 line rotations, all right? We did a fantastic job in set location and track lines, all right? I'll see you guys on Zoom. Adios.